What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with part 12 of my Total Insight here with part 12 of my Total Warhammer II modded Arkhan the Black campaign. So first things first, you guys might notice I sound a little bit different today with regards to my audio. Gotta give a huge shout out to my boss, as in my day job boss, not my YouTube boss, who bought me a Blue Yeti for Christmas, and now I can feel like all the other YouTubers that have these things. I was using a decade-old, probably $20 gooseneck mic prior to this, you know, little weirdly tall ones, with tons and tons of audio filters to try to make myself sound remotely acceptable, so very, very much appreciated, especially as I prefer the plug-and-play stuff and don't really want to mess around with XLR. Anyway, in light of this, there's going to be probably some growing pains with regards to the first few episodes as I fiddle around with the sound to try to grapple with the massively increased sensitivity of the new mic, so do bear with me, and do let me know if you think it's too loud or you hear distortion or background noise or what have you. Anyway, back to the game itself. As we saw last time, we have declared war on Tic-Tac-Toe by using our scapegoats, as it were, in the Beastmen, and asking them to join the war, easily taking El Calabad where Tic-Tac-Toe foolishly moved to defend, as well as the Pools of Despair with our new first Dynasty Lord, King Wakaf, who I've renamed to Wakaf the Desert Ghoul, as he will be having all of the ghoul units. He will be our ghoul army. I'm fairly interested to see how powerful the ghouls do get to at the end. They do seem to have a massive amount of weapon strength, so they hit pretty hard for a relatively low tier unit. Their melee attack is a little bit disappointing though at 33. I mean, it's still higher than something like these skeleton spears, but it does seem like they'll have a difficult time actually hitting anything. It feels like the bats would actually be pretty darn good at taking them out. Although we do have to remember that there are nearly 200 at 175 units in a single pack of ghouls. So we could just drown the enemy in ghouls, and that's very, very vampire count / undead. So I gotta appreciate that. Now, one of the problems at the very end of the last episode, which I noticed, was the fact that we didn't get the Out of the Skies buff on Arkhan. We only got it on King Kura, and this seems like a great investment of a buff. So plus 20% campaign movement range. Think about a campaign that lasts until 200 turns, and nearly every turn you have to move to max distance to try to get to the next enemy territory. That 20% should make up for a lot of extra time. So, in light of that, what we're going to do is we're going to sit here for 5 turns. I believe that's the amount it'll take for Tic-Tac-Toe to get unwounded, heal up, and lead these armies again. I'm just going to raid his territories a little bit, probably do the battle for the Tomb Blade of Arkhan while we wait, and then attack Tic-Tac-Toe and then the Jaluk Oasis and shore up our territories here within the desert so that we can either target the dwarves, depending on how many turns it's taken, and whether we can delete our alliances, or quote-unquote alliance with them, or if not, then we can move towards the Dune Kingdoms over here in the east. So, let's get to that, shall we? Now, I think that the first thing we want to do is we want to move one of these skeleton archers out of Arkhan's army and back to King Kurus. He did lose one of these. I think he actually lost 2, although I'm not 100% on this. And the reason I want to do that is because next turn we are going to use another great incantation of Tahoth and get another Casket of Souls. I figure that you basically want these freaking things all the time. Like, as soon as one comes up, you get it, because you want them in your armies because they're pretty damn swell. So we're going to get a third into Arkhan's force. I don't know whether that's going to stick around, because I feel like we might not need 3 in his force, but early game, it'll certainly have value. In the meantime, King Kura, you have lost one of your hounds, so you can replace it at exactly the same rank that it was, and I guess you can get another bat for yourself. I mean, we can also replace... Can you recruit right now? Yeah, you can recruit yourself another ghoul. We're gonna need tons and tons of ghouls here. I mean, we could have also gotten you a bat so that you have 4 bats. I guess we could get you a bat. Oh, you can't move. Okay, you know what? We'll wait. We'll wait and do that next turn. We'll move you here to Al Kalabad, and then we'll do that. Arkhan's going to need to move out of his stance to fight his battle for the Tomb Blade anyway. And also, after the right for the Casket of Souls, I think what we'll do is we're going to save up 15k gold, and we're going to build the Great Pyramid of Setra. That will unlock the Great Pyramid of Arkhan technology. Now, does this not unlock any technologies? Oh, so the Black Tower of Arkhan isn't a Great Pyramid, so it doesn't unlock any technology. That's a little bit disappointing. I would have liked something, but oh well, that's fine. That is fine. I believe we can end this turn. You're not going to do anything, although, you know what? Maybe we just... do we damage buildings here? The thing is, we want to take it, and I don't want to spend the cash, but I do want to level you up. Alright, I think we'll just ignore that. We do have research available as well, and I think we're going to go back to the Wisdom of the 5th Dynasty. 8 turns until we can get another army going, and we will then probably summon either Setep, or maybe we'll summon Nagash. The thing is, Nagash seems to increase the tax rate for public and public order, so it seems like he's going to be the kind of lord that benefits empire building and stuff, and we can pop him into the Black Tower of Arkhan, which is already making 2,000 gold per turn without any of its crazy upgrades. So we pop him into the Black Tower, make him make a ton of cash, and then if anybody declares war on us or if he needs to be defending, he'll be our defensive army. I think that's a decent plan. Alrighty, let's end the turn, and let's get to raiding. And oh, you know what? We should probably kill that agent before it starts annoying Arkhan's force. We need it to be at full HP when we fight for the Tomb Blade. And another thing I noticed, and man, the dwarves are just uncomfortably close to us constantly. Why do they keep standing here? It feels like they want to declare war, but they're not doing it. What might happen is as soon as we end our alliances with them, since they're allied with Talaqwa's going to ask them to join the war. We got 4 turns of this and no turns of non-aggression pact, and I feel like the AI doesn't really care about the alliances. It will straight up betray you, and it won't suffer nearly as much as the player will. So anyway, let's move King Wakaf over. I'm not going to march him, because I feel like going into march stance is a bad idea with the dwarves all over here. It would be unfortunate to have his army destroyed, even if he is immortal right now. And then we're going to pop that great incantation of Tahoth. There we are, and get ourselves a 3rd Casket of Souls. It will take some time to level up, but that's still pretty nice. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference from 2,000 damage to 1,600. 400 damage between level rank 0 and rank 9, or rank 1 and rank 9, I guess. Or it is rank 0. The rank... Huh, do you start at rank 0, not rank 1? It's a little bit odd. I don't see anybody with rank 1, so I can't actually check that, but I guess we'll see when it levels up, unless it skips the level. Anyway, I think this is where we go for the Tomb Blade. We still really haven't solved the issue of the Feral Bestie and the Feral Carnosaur and the regular Bestie, but I'm thinking that Arkhan can probably take one, and then we can just, I don't know, focus the other one down. I hope that's the case. We'll find out. It's not like we'll lose the army if we lose the battle, so it's not like it's going to be a huge deal anyway. Let's go into Corrupted Dynasty's stance for the fight, just to get the free Ghoul King, or White King, whatever. You're the Ghoul King, Wakaf. Oh, you cannot teleport the characters in a stance. Oh, damn, never mind. I guess we'll have to fight like this then. Alrighty, well, free 5k XP. I'll certainly take that. Yes, I'm quite sure. Alrighty, so what are we looking at here? Balance of Power is looking pretty good, and oh, they do have some reinforcements. Flyers, and a bunch of skinks. The reinforcements don't look too bad here. Alright, I think that's perfectly doable. Let's get this Razor Standard on our original unit of Whites of Stonewrath Tarn. I feel like you want to put the Razor Standard on units that have the most number of models, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's always the way I've done it. I feel like the plus 10 piercing damage is not a huge deal on something like the Scorpion, but is a fairly decent deal on somebody like somebody with a high level of units. We could also put it on... one of these guys, but they're already damage dealers, whereas the whites probably need a little bit of a hand there. Anyway, let's get to this. Obviously going to be a cinematic battle.
Come, loyal thralls. Today we do Nagash's work. This pathetic rabble of reptiles presume to master the arts of resurrection. Their pitiful knowledge of such matters will die with them, here before the statues of the gods. Slay them all. Bring me Alcatizar's remains. My two blade will burn with the light of Nagash.
Alrighty, here we go. So a fairly interesting looking map. I really like the way that you could see the columns in the sand and stuff. That was a really cool little cinematic scene that they had there, and I really like how this is an actual underground city. There, it feels like when playing as the Tomb Kings, there really aren't a lot of maps like this. This one's amazing. I love it. I guess it doesn't count as being an underground map, but it's still pretty awesome. Anyway, so this is an interesting map to set up. We have some walls over here and a couple ramps. I thought that we could charge this ramp originally, but at the end of the day, I decided to sort of set up over on this high ground over here, because we do have the artillery superiority, and there's a good amount of high ground over here. There's a rock there, and the enemy would have to approach us. Plus, after getting hit by the artillery a couple times, the enemy does charge us immediately, so there was really no point in trying to charge forth, because then they would have had the high ground. In addition to that, one of the things I don't like about quest battles is they don't show you where the enemy reinforcements are arriving from. They say the reinforcements will arrive, but not which direction they're going to come from. So obviously, we are going to have to basically make a box around our artillery, because who knows if they're going to come from this side or from this side or from this side, and immediately take out our precious caskets, which we can't get any more of. So in that light, I decided to split our Whites of Stonewrath Tarn, sending 2 behind us and 2 in front of us, as well as same thing, 2 and 2 with regards to the Nehekaran warriors, and then just as I said, basically box up the artillery and prevent the enemy from attacking us from wherever they will inevitably come from. Now obviously the artillery advantage is pretty telling here, and the enemy do have some nice units with regards to their Temple Guard. And their Temple Guard don't seem to take a crazy amount of damage from the artillery. Okay, you know what? That actually did look like quite a bit of... Oh, that was a Sword Spear unit. Okay. For a second, I thought the game was trying to screw with me, as it likes to do. Anyway, as usual, I did send out Snuggles up front here and summoned a unit of zombies a lot earlier than the enemy line hit us. The reason for that, of course, being that we want to wait for the cooldown so that we can summon a secondary unit of zombies and just prevent this army from just hitting our line at all. This will allow us to continuously fire our caskets at the enemy elite units with impunity, as the only thing that they will destroy instead of our own units will be the disposable zombies, which, well, technically are our units. You know what I mean. And there we go, another hit coming into the Saurus units there. And there's our second set of zombies, stopping these guys in their tracks as well. So that works out quite nicely. And oh, the battle doesn't make this announcement for some reason, but it looks like there was a second set of reinforcements here. I did bet wrong, and they do actually come out of the... come out on the enemy side of the map, but hey, better safe than sorry. And as I was saying, it didn't actually show this on the preview screen, because this is a bunch of Horned Ones. And 4 units of Horned Ones and a Saurus Old Blood, or 2 units of Cold One Riders, perhaps, and then 2 units of Horned Ones. and a Source Old Blood to lead them. It's weird that it didn't show them, but hey, whatever. It's fine as long as they didn't spawn behind us. And here we go. This is what I was talking about with regards to the zombies tar pitting, while the Temple Guard are held here, and all the firepower from our caskets comes down and just wrecks face. It's absolutely beautiful. Plus, we also have all of our archers targeting the bestie, which is actually taking a fair amount of damage because of our special archer unit that does the armor-piercing damage. The bestie actually goes down fairly quick, and look at this. Maybe I didn't bet so wrong here, because there was the second unit of reinforcements, or second army of reinforcements, the one that the preview actually did warn us about, but it did come directly behind our army. Ironically, I was talking about setting up here. This would have been a lot better than the way I had set up here, because then these guys wouldn't have actually hit up our main line and been sort of within striking distance of the caskets, but hey, this still worked out fairly decently. What I did sort of do here is panic and immediately redirect all of our range fire to the incoming force. All three of the caskets do turn around, and one of the things I like about the caskets is that they sort of pivot on the spot so that they can retarget behind them very, very easily, and this is one of those very, very rare situations where that actually comes in handy. I also believe I retargeted our archers, and I do get them to target all of the enemy Pterodon riders because we don't really have any kind of answer to them otherwise. I suppose we are going to get rid of all the archers, so we're going to have a bit of an issue with flying enemy units when Arkhan is fighting without support here. And obviously I did target all of our Caskets of Souls at the poor little skinks over here, adorable though they are. These are the ranged skinks, and once again, we don't really have too much of an answer for them. And the melee units, if we were to target them, our Wights of Stonerat Tarn would get beat up by our own caskets, probably more so than by the enemy skinks. Actually, there's no probably about it, is there? The skinks aren't really a threat to them, and the caskets very much are a threat. This thing, however, is quite a bit of a threat as well, because the Feral Stag is not something that the Wights can easily deal with themselves, unlike the chaff infantry, which they can hold in place forever. So you can see the main line over here. This part is going pretty darn swell, or at least it was, until all these extra cav units started arriving. I believe this is when Snuggles starts taking damage. I even popped the Liber Mortis to try to prevent him from taking too much of a beating from this. In addition to this little flank over here, look how many enemy units are tied up. A unit of Saurus Spears, another unit of Saurus Spears, as well as all of these cav units, and a freaking Feral Bestie, and the Feral Carnosaurus coming over here as well. So just these Wights of Stonerat Tarn and these Osirian's Legion of the Underworld, I always forget the name of that freaking unit, tie up this many resources from the enemy. This is definitely the MVPs of this particular battle, because imagine if we had to deal with all of these guys over here. I'm just trying to send units to basically countercharge the enemies with regards to these Wights of Stonerat Tarn, so they don't immediately charge our range units, because we really need them to clean house over here with regards to the enemy flyers. And I've said with regards to like 10 times already, so it's lost all meaning. With regards to meaning, I'll stop, or at least I'll try to. And oh, it looks like some of the some of the splash hit into the Pterodon riders from the caskets, but none of them dropped, surprisingly. Maybe it's not enough damage. Oh well. Now let's just watch some stuff happen for a while, shall we? Nothing really changes after the battle lines have all just hit each other. Everybody's sort of just holding everybody else in place. We got our Ushabti summons in here. I saw the Feral Carnosaur decide to go for Arkhan. He does start taking a little bit of damage, but then again, so does Snuggles. Snuggles, the duel between a Scorpion, a Tomb Scorpion, and a Carnosaur definitely vastly favors the Carnosaur, and Snuggles drops to half HP, plus jumps into a remaining unit of Temple Guard, which is not so great for it. I do heal it with the Necrotech's ability, but that certainly does not help it all that much, as it starts dropping with the critical binding and the damage sustain, and I do order it out of this fray immediately as soon as I do that. In addition to that, this Feral Carnosaur kind of freaked me out, so I did tell the Ushabti, as well as both of our heroes, to start smacking it around, because we really don't need it to dish out the amazing damage that these things can dish out. Cool model, though. There we go, but then again, so are the Ushabti. And some nice damage coming in here. I believe the Saurus Scar Veteran is also somewhere in the fray, as well as the Slan Mage Priest. I really don't understand why the AI would just try to send a Slan into a melee like this, because that's really not what you want. The Kroxigors, the enemy actually kept them back here and got them into the fray last, which was a little bit odd, but it actually kind of worked out for the AI in the sense that they were completely unharmed and were able to damage our units without taking much damage in reprisal. This part of the flank is still holding off quite well, and the enemy is actually doing a decent job with regards to the cycle charges from the enemy cav, but they're really not doing anything to these particular units. I think what happened in this flank is that Usirian's Legion of the Underworld, being an ethereal unit, were taking damage, and then every time our Realm of Souls popped up, they were basically healing themselves back to full, which also prevented the Whites of Stonewrath Tarn that were standing among them from taking as much damage. And I think that was a beautiful combination. I gotta remember to do that a couple times. Maybe even send the Nehekar warriors to stand on top of the Whites of Stonewrath Tarn as well. So, the enemy army that came back behind us did die fairly easily with basically no losses on our side. I think the most damage we took was to this unit of Whites of Stonewrath Tarn from that dino, which they couldn't deal with. The dino ended up rampaging, or I don't remember if it actually rampaged, but I do remember that it lost morale and then charged off the edge of the map. I feel like I ended up overreacting to this force, because originally I thought, oh look, the enemy is coming out of here, and then there won't be anything we have to worry about with regards to getting attacked from the side or from the back, and then right after that, the enemy immediately attacks us from the back. And obviously that freaked me out, and I sent a bunch of units to deal with them. Probably a few more units could have helped out in the fray here, and that would have made us take a little bit less damage, but at the end of the day, not a huge deal. And once again, look at all these cav units. They are charging here. We do start sending our units back from protecting the caskets to try to protect our range units, because they are doing a fairly decent amount of damage to the enemy, whereas the rest of our units are mostly holding the line while our heavy hitters are attacking. I also made use of our Lich Priest over here, because these Kroxigors decided to rout, and he's really the only cav unit that we have, so I did send him to chase them so that they didn't come back immediately. It was also hard to try to find an enemy unit that we could actually target with our caskets this late, because all the units were engaged, and it was really dangerous because we had a lot more infantry units that would take a lot more damage from casket friendly fire. And there we go, Snuggles is back into it. A lot of damage taken, but with the Carnosaur gone, it's just the Kroxigors left here, and we're not too worried about them. And there we go. I believe that's it for this battle. We finally win out in the middle of the flank here. One enemy lord is still getting chased around the map by our Nehekar warriors. I believe it was a skink chief who didn't want to fight in a melee. And these guys, absolutely amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing how they held that flank over there. I'm actually surprised once again at how well the Legion of the Underworld do at staying alive. And obviously they're ethereal, so they don't take a lot of physical damage. It also means that units that have physical splash, like the dinos, also don't wreck them so much as they wreck other infantry units. So I'm just gonna keep singing these guys' praises, probably for the rest of the campaign, so get used to it. And anyway, there it is, a heroic victory for us in this awesome looking map, and a Tomb Blade for Arkhan. Alright, that was actually a considerably tougher battle than I thought it would. I think I made it a little bit tougher for myself by accident, and that this certainly shows that without Arkhan's supporting army, since we don't have pseudo-cav, the enemy just route and come back, route and come back, route and come back. I was getting fighting Skaven PTSD over there. But hey, we still came out on top at the end of the day, and our losses weren't too grievous, but I suppose it could have gone either way. I don't even know if I would call it a heroic victory so much as a close victory, because for a few seconds there it did feel like we were looking to get overwhelmed by the mainline force. I also think I overreacted to the reinforcing lines by sending too many of our units to the sides to guard from the cavalry charge, as well as the ones that ended up attacking us from the back. And also, it said reinforcements were coming. It didn't say 2 levels of reinforcements were coming. It promised this one, but not this one. But I am glad that I ended up deciding to protect the Caskets of Souls fairly heavily. I actually thought that the Pterodon Riders would just jump on them, but I guess these are the ranged Pterodon Riders as opposed to the Ripperdactyls, which would have been a lot nastier to try to protect the Caskets of Souls with. And as for the MVP of this particular battle, once again, I gotta give it to Syrian's Legion of the Underworld. These guys, while it's not super reflected in the kills at only 74, that's actually pretty darn good. I mean, they actually got the second most kills out of all the non-artillery stuff, and looking at the damage dealt by all the non-artillery stuff, like, they dealt twice as much as most. The Capra's Guard were really disappointing there, but the archers did really well. But other than that, it was mostly this particular unit of Whites of Stonewrath Tarn, and not much else to speak of, so definitely at 26k damage dealt, these guys held out, and they were also on the flank. They basically held back the charge of this entire reinforcing line alone. Well, not quite alone. They also had one of these units of Whites together with them, and they took no damage. I mean, obviously they took damage and healed because they get extra healing, but very happy with you guys. I think we're going to keep you around in Arkhan's army. Now, what are we going to do? We could take more cash. We could replenish. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Harvest Soul Jars. Yeah, the cash would be useful. I don't deny it. But we need to start saving Soul Jars once again if we want to get that second semi-legendary Lord out as soon as he is available. And Arkhan hits level 20 from that. Pretty darn nice. And we have the Tomb Blade of Arkhan, of course, which gives us +5 public order to own local province. Not a big deal, but I do like the fact that it does summon a larger unit of Skeleton Warriors, so even more summons coming out of Arkhan is always going to be good. I don't really care about the rest of these buffs too much. Just looking at them right now. I mean, the 10% research rate is something. The other stuff is kind of meh, but hey, it all adds up in the end. Every little bit counts. So there we go. Arkhan's got to be happy. Oh, and we also unlocked the Eyes of the Desert, the Sepulchral Stalkers. Now that's an interesting thing. Is there a lord that comes out of these guys, out of the semi-legends, that buffs up Sepulchral Stalkers and that buffs up Necropolis Knights, like Khalida would? Because I don't think we can confed Khalida. She's not going to be happy with Arkhan. And yeah, it doesn't look like any of these lords buff these guys. So maybe what we do is we pop some Sepulchral Stalkers into the Desert Ghouls army. I gotta think about that. I gotta think about the way we want to theme these armies at the end of the day. Anyway, Arkhan, let's see how many levels you got out here. 3. Did you get any new bits? Doesn't look like it here. No, I'm still tempted to take away the Potion of Strength from King Kura and just give it to Arkhan. I mean, he does pretty decent amounts of damage, and the Tomb Blade of Arkhan should help with that. Although I do notice that the Tomb Blade doesn't actually give any bonus to melee attack, which is a little bit disappointing, and no melee defense either. You know what, King Kura, you can hold on to this for now. We'll see later. Now, we do have 3 skill points to attribute. Where are we gonna place them? We already have Grand... Oh, you know what? We can get the 2nd level of Grand Vizier's Command. We do need to get Spirit Binder, but we still lack the Ghost unit building, which is just ludicrously expensive, so we're going to have to wait on that. And to be honest, the Spirit Binder buffs aren't great. It's just that, once again, every little bit, right? Embalmed in Elixir, +4 HP. Once again, not a huge deal. Income from sacking settlements. We probably won't be sacking too many settlements in the desert. We probably will sack some in when we get out of the desert and the Badlands, but that'll be a long time from now, so we don't really need that now. I think maybe we gotta start leveling up Arkhan a little bit. Let's get him martial prowess, in fact. We should probably get the Curse of Undeath right after that, but this should help him be, if not too big, and if not too heavy of a hitter, well, although plus 50 armor piercing damage, that's at least a 10% buff. Probably a little bit more if you count it as armor piercing, although we don't really need it, because the Tomb Blade of Arkhan now gives us, enables magical attack, so we don't really need the armor piercing since we pierce all. But that's okay. Now we're at level 20, and we really have to be careful with the points we're going to be putting into stuff, because we're running out of points. We're just straight up running out of points, and I still want to get Resurrect, because we do want that to help with the army, plus Unfading Memory will buff Arkhan's Legion of Stonewrath Tarn. I think, unfortunately, we might have to just pass on the Lore of Death, except for possibly Spirit Leech. I would like to get Evasion as well, but I'm not sure it's worth the extra 3 points in here. There aren't a lot of cheap spells here, except for the aspect of the Dread Knight, and then we'd still have to get another one of these, and they're not cheap, and I'd probably never end up using these, just because we don't have the Winds of Magic to cast all this stuff already. We do want to get Wind of Death, though. So we're going to be going a little bit heavier into the vampire tree. It would be unfortunate to lose out on Arcane Conduit and Magical Reserves, but I'm not willing to give up Resurrect. If nothing else, the 15 leadership is great, and then once again Unfading Memory. And we do probably need to make Arkhan into at least something of a fighter. Do we need to go all the way to Necrostrike? I'm not entirely sure. We could just keep... The thing is, Devastating Charge and Woundmaker together, in addition to his Chariot, would make him a pretty devastating at killing infantry units. But we could forego it. I gotta think about it. We're definitely gonna get Blade Master and Hard to Hit. We'll see about the rest. Oh, Conqueror isn't bad either. It's sort of combining... Wait. It's 4 melee attack for 10% weapon strength? Yeah, it's actually better than Blade Master. Huh. Alright, we'll take that. And we'll think about the rest. Alright, so that's your levels. We are at level 20 with you, my friend, as well. Do you get any stuff? No, it doesn't look like. Okay. What were we going before? We don't really need the Dark Knowledge for now. I think we were going to go Arcane Conduit for you so you can support Arkhan. I guess we're gonna have to go with the Skull Storm. I don't see using it too much, but you never know. The problem with the Skull Storm is it does no armor piercing damage. And when you get into the late game, non-armor piercing damages... Oh, but it does magical damage. So wouldn't that go through the armor anyway, like I was saying earlier? Huh, so maybe it wouldn't be too bad. At 16 wins... You know what, fine, just get that point in there. I guess this guy doesn't have to really conserve points as much as Arkhan does anyway. You... Mr. Necrotech, I guess we're just gonna go head towards Desert Strike, so fine. Just do that. Alrighty, so what do we do now? I guess we don't... You know what? Let's upgrade these 2 buildings because they're cheap upgrades and it's a decent amount of cash. I'm not going to upgrade anything to level 3, but the free cash is always nice. And from now on, we will be saving the rest of our cash to get that Great Pyramid of Cetra. And the Zandri Pyramid is also coming up. So it's like 30,000 cash we're going to need floating around, which we just don't have as of yet. We should, however... keep killing these guys to level up, if nothing else. I don't think this is going to work out, but try it anyway. Oh, of course, the second I say it's not going to work out, that's when it works out. And no one was surprised that day. Okay, well, the Specialist is already maxed, so we don't need to do anything there. Let's just go for Canopic Jarhold, or Hoarder. We'll get more Canopic Jars per turn. 75 isn't horrible. Oh, but it's 70. It's actually 25, and then we got 50 from the battle that we won. Fair enough. And then Arkhan, you're going to switch with King Kura, who's going to move out here, go into raiding stance, while you go and heal up in El Kalabad. Only 1 turn, beautiful. And then you... Alright, you moved last turn, that's fine. Jaluk Oasis, is Tic Tac here? Tic Tac is not here, but looks like we got a Salan duo, Lord Croak and Shalgar. I'm actually wondering... Is the first faction to summon the first Lizardmen faction to summon Lord Croak the only one that gets him? Or does every Lizardmen faction have the ability to summon Lord Croak at once where there's like a billion Lord Croaks on the field? I'm genuinely curious. We should probably get the Sepulchral Stalkers in your army. You know what? Let's do that. If nothing else, they're a good unit. Help out the ghouls. Even if you're not buffing them. But I suppose... See, the thing about the ghoul army is it needs to buff something. The ghouls get no benefit from anything here. So it's definitely an option to buff up Sepulchral Stalkers. Oh, it's only Sepulchral Stalkers, Necrosphinx, and Tomb Scorpions that are one thing. So Necropolis Knights, since the Stalkers don't... they don't share stuff. I guess the Stalkers are a construct? It says they're monstrous infantry, but I think they're a construct, right? Not completely sure. Because they're in the same tree that buffs a bunch of other constructs, like the Tomb Scorpion and the Necrosphinx. Well, I guess we'll find out. I would have thought that they would be in Revered Stone Masonry if they were a legit construct, but then again, neither of those is the Tomb Scorpion or the Necrosphinx. Where's the War Sphinx now that I think? And then the War Sphinx is in Master Charioteers, despite not being a chariot. Okay, this one doesn't make any sense, does it? At least the Tomb Bark you could sort of say is sort of like a chariot. How is the Cambrian War Sphinx in here? Whatever, not a huge deal either way. Let's end the turn. Let's see if Tic Tac does anything. More importantly, let's see if the dwarves are ready to betray us yet. Tic Tac, you're still wounded. You want to peace out with us. We're not going to do that, because I don't want to leave this place until you're gone, because you're just going to hit us eventually. And now we have 5 siege engines that we could spray Jaluk Oasis with, so... we should be able to take it quite easily, even with Lord Croak defending. As ludicrously overpowered as Lord Croak is. For those of you who watched my Gorok campaign that I finished recently, Lord Croak was just so disgustingly overpowered. Let's see. What can we do? I guess if we're saving money, we can just skip a few turns. You can keep raiding, and I guess Arkhan can come out and keep raiding as well. Double up on the raiding. Alrighty, that's pretty good. And you, I guess you can march stance into Al-Khalabad now. It has some defenders, and I feel like it's okay. Even if these guys attack us now, it should be able to take out this army. Despite the fairly decent unit ranks here. I don't think there's anything else to do if we're saving money, unless there's something really cheap that we can build. That's a decent money upgrade. Oh, also, we need to pay attention to our public order. Actually, I think everything's right about where it should be. So we're okay there. Growth is still coming into Khemri, and you know what? We'll build this. The Crumbling Temple. There you go. That one's worth it, because we need to build all those buildings here anyway. We need to get... Oh, we can get started on the Undead Quarrymen. And we can just cancel out one of these buildings when we want to replace... yeah, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. It's cash. I mean, it starts off at only 50, but it goes to 150 and then plus 100%, so it'll be quite a lot. Yeah, do it. Do it. I don't like the loss of a Canopic Jar per turn, but I do like the cash per turn. We're going to need to do the exact same thing in the Black Tower of Ark. I'm almost tempted to get rid of this, but we'll just wait until it levels up to 4, I think. Especially since we're saving money right now. Oh, Pools of Despair. We could just build this really cheap building here and just make money out of it. Do that. Alright, I think that's another end turn. Let's see if Tic Tac's gonna come up now. I really hope that this army doesn't need to die for Tic Tac to come up. Wah succeeds. What? The world looked on in horror as the Wah swept over its doomed victims, all shudder in fear of being the next in line or something like that. Are you declaring war? No, you want a defensive alliance. It's not gonna happen, buddy. Not gonna happen. I'd prefer you warring with whoever you're warring. Tic Tac? No, they changed from... Huh. Why would you do that? Was this guy wounded? Did we kill him earlier? I don't remember fighting a Kroxigor Ancient recently. Oh, they got a Blessed Temple Guard unit. That's well for them. But where's Tic Tac? Why is Weiram here? Stop it. I guess you can raid as well. Wait, can this guy hit us? No, he can't. Gotta get all 3 armies raiding here. You know what? Maybe we send King Wakov to start raiding Bagar over... Oh, wow, it's generating, like, no cash. We do need to go over here anyway. But if it generates no cash, then there's no point. You can't even go into this territory. Oh, maybe you can. Whose territory are you in? Yeah, looks like we're making money. I did say we need to save it up anyway. What about the Dwarven diplomacy? How are we in terms of ending the treaties? 2 turns until we can do so. Okay. Fair enough. I guess we could destroy the Dwarves while we're here. We'll lose out on some trade, but I guess the gemstones will come in handy. And then somebody in one of the previous episodes said that even if they don't betray us, they will eventually get confederated by one of the major dwarf factions, probably the major dwarf faction, and that would be bad. Because we'll probably eventually fight them. I mean, not necessarily, but it might happen. And these guys aren't liking the fact that we're obliterating Talaqua anyway, so... Alright, let's end one more turns. There's a settlement... There's 3 settlement upgrades available. Oh man, that makes me not want to be saving. But I would upgrade El Calabad, but it's not an option right now anyway, although it will be next turn. Sorcerer's Islands. We will be making a bunch of military buildings here. We need this to get more crypt horrors, which we'll do soon. But once again, it's all a question of money right now. Zandri, how much money do we need to save up for your pyramid? 1,600. Damn. Once again, it'll be worth it, but that's a crazy amount of cash. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we almost have enough for Cetra's pyramid, at least. So, in fact, wait, if it's 1,500, we'll have enough next turn, so we can freely just delete... Let's say we delete the Funerary District. I'd rather keep the Public Order building and the Growth building for now, while the place is still growing. Guess we're gonna save on the port here. We could build the Porter's Hut here, although will we be too short on money if we do that? I think we're okay. Potter's Hut, not Porter. Those are different things. Job ruin us. Alright, let's end one more turn. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be taking out Tic-Tac-Toe this particular episode. That cinematic battle took quite a bit of time. I would have liked to end Tic-Tac this episode as well, but hey, we at least got the Tomb Blade. And you know what, sometimes we do need to do this empire building stuff, and I'm glad we did that while it was during an episode where there was a battle. Okay, and I think you know what we could try to do? Instead of generating cash like this, we could try to go into ambush then, see if we can fool Wirem into attacking. Although, he probably won't even attack this army, will he? I doubt it. Anyway, let's build Cetra's pyramid, shall we? Great Pyramid of Cetra. I wish we could build it up here, kind of hurting the old OCD. But yeah, do it. There we go. 10 turns to construct it. Hopefully we won't lose Camry in the meantime, although I really doubt anything. Unless it's 2 full stacks of like Chaos Warriors or something is going to do anything to that, so we'll be okay. Alright, let's end one more turn, I guess. There's some unassigned skill points, but I'll do that between the episodes. I just want to see if Tic-Tac comes back up and whether we can take him out next episode. And not seeing Tic-Tac here yet. Is this going to change? Are you going to cancel your stuff? Yes. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted. They've ended their non-aggression pact with us. Because they want to attack us. Tic-Tac, you are not back up, damn it. Come on. I hope that Wirem is not keeping Tic-Tac from coming up. I mean, there's only so long we can wait. Can we cancel this? We can cancel military access and the trade agreement. I wonder, is that going to hurt our reliability? Betrayals are forgotten over time. Treachery decreases, but this isn't treachery, it's just canceling a treaty. Let's find out. Very high. No, it's still very high. We're still okay. Yeah, we're still okay. This will hurt some of our money generation. Oh, they really dislike us now. Ah, man. But we waited 10 turns and we're still very high. Okay, we're okay. I'm happy with that. Now,
Talk at me in
if
your
we
true
declare
language
war...
if you
Nah,
must.
we need to
I
wait
make
10
no
turns,
promises
damn.
as to the outcome.
All we can do is hope that they declare war on us. Although, watch this army hit something like, something that's kind of undefended. I mean, if it happens, it happens. Let's upgrade El Calibad while we're at it. Hopefully they don't immediately hit El Calibad. Alright, one more end turn, and then I'm gonna call this episode. I just want to see Tic Tac come back up. If he doesn't in, let's say, 2 turns or 3 turns, I'm just gonna take out Jaluk Oasis, because we've waited here for long enough.
Witness my
No, still Weiram. Alrighty, okay, this is where I'm gonna call it. There's more administrative stuff to do, there's several skill points to assign, a bunch of buildings to build, and I don't want to take more time over this episode doing that, so next time, we are definitely going to destroy Tic Tac for good, regardless of whether he comes back up or not. We will also... Once he's dead, we're gonna book it out of here. I mean, yes, these guys are gonna attack us. We can at least send Arkhan out over here. I gotta think about this. Because now the 10 turns are 9 turns. Are probably... Oh, we also will have another... we'll have another Lord come up very, very soon. So we should save up enough cash to be able to unlock him immediately. And I guess... You know what? We're not going to make this place a military hub. It's going to be an all money-making hub, so we can actually destroy this. But we will start upgrading some more of these buildings, some more military buildings. As soon as we take Jaluk Oasis, we are going to start maxing out the Ghost Tree. I mean, unfortunately, nothing we have is level 4. So we could only get the Desecrated Sepulchres thing. So that's only 2 units of Cairn Wraiths. That's a little bit weak. We need at least 1 place to hit level 4 Tomb City, and I think the Wizard Caliph's Palace is getting close to doing so. If we destroy this Ancient Burial, or we destroy this Ancient Burial Mound and upgrade that one, we can replace this one with the Sepulchres, and then either next episode or the next episode or the episode after that, we will start replacing some of the units in Arkhan's army with more Ghost units. But that will be a problem for next time and all the times to come. So with that said, as always, I do appreciate any all feedback with regards to the gameplay or the way I do things on this channel. If you have a second, please do take to leave a like and or a comment to support the channel. It really does help. As always, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.